Hello everybody and welcome back to the Sideline A podcast. We have a very special podcast coming up this evening and we're live here in Cullyhanna. We're looking ahead to the Ulster Intermediate final coming up on Sunday between Cullyhanna and Ballyhaise. I'm delighted to be joined by four experts who's going to take us through all the ins and outs of the game. Two Cullyhanna legends here beside me, Martin McQuillan and Paddy McCreesh. I have a former Ballyhaise manager, Frank Brady, and former Derry and Glenone footballer, Gerard O'Kane. Boys, great to have you here, and it's great to have such a good crowd here in Cullyhanna. Looking forward to this game. I suppose we'll start with the game itself, the game of Gaelic football, where it's at the minute. It receives a lot of negativity at the minute. I suppose, Martin, I'll bring you in. You can get the first word here. From your playing days, it has changed a lot, I'm sure. How do you see the game nowadays?
Well, the current game, I would just hate to play in the current era because, and I've talked to different lads that I would have played. I've talked to different lads that I've played with county football with, and they said they would hate to be playing in the current game because of the way the teams are set up. There's no man-to-man marking anymore, and it's just blanket defence. But you take a good quality player, if he gets the ball now, there's 4 or 5 men around him now, and it's just a non-event for him.
And Paddy, you've played recently and played last year. How did you see the change in the last maybe the last decade or so? Has it been a big change as a player? Is it still enjoyable as it once was?
You could understand people's frustrations with defensive systems and whatnot. Probably, unfortunately, definitely at the minute, it's a win all cost mentality. So that means you have to set up defensively. That's what teams are going to do. They just want to win, and if it means getting loads of men back, that's what they're going to do. Probably what you don't want to see then is that filtering down into underage teams and whatnot. That's what I don't want to see. You can understand it at senior level, but you're seeing it more and more at underage levels, and it's sort of taking away the fun and enjoyment out of it for the underage players. You don't really see the outstanding corner forwards, doing their thing, they're tracking back and doing things that they wouldn't normally be doing. And it probably goes to show whenever you see it on players leaving county panels. I think that speaks volumes. The likes of maybe Lee Brennan leaving Tyrone panel, Darren McCrory maybe leaving Tyrone panel. They're leaving for a reason. They don't want to be part of the defensive setup. They don't want to be tracking back. They want to be up doing their thing. And it's sad to see whenever it comes to that. But hopefully moving forward, see what maybe Jim McGuinness brings to the table now with Donegal next year. So hopefully there'll be a new attacking movement coming forward. Hopefully.
Gerard, when you were 1-on-1 with the likes of Bernard Brogan, I'm sure you didn't mind a few sweepers maybe in front of you.
I suppose I probably played in an era where the game changed as I was playing. So whenever I was playing, it was very much 1-to-1. Maybe I think whenever I was playing county football, the first idea of maybe double marking came in, and I can say that as a Derry man because every time we played Tyrone, Paddy was double marked by either Gormley or Ricey or Michael McNamee. We went to Donegal, it was one of the McGee brothers, maybe Carol Lacey, and that sort of stuff sort of crept in gradually over time. But as a player like myself, I was sort of an attacking half-back, but if I had to maybe go and do a man-marking job, I was doing it by default, maybe because Sean Marley or Kevin McGuffin maybe weren't available. So it wouldn't have been my natural thing, so you always did like that wee bit of cover. But at the same time, you have to back yourself too. And if you're in that sort of arena, I was always fairly confident that you could break even, put your man under a bit of pressure, but maybe put him in the back foot, that sort of thing. So cover started to come in just as I was playing. And as a half-back, I was always very conscious of going up the field all the time and leaving a hole 40 by 40 wide in front of number 4, in front of number 2, because you're making the cornerback's life difficult. That's the team game at the end of the day. So you sort of have to balance it yourself. The way it's gone now, it probably has gone to the extreme where I'm just finished playing as of 2 weeks ago, I think. I sort of made my mind up that way, but I get into a bit of coaching and people say to you, what way do you coach, what way do you want to coach? In a utopian world, you have 15 against 15, you play a team that kicks the ball. It's probably not always going to be like that, but this Ballyhaise team maybe skipping ahead, they will kick the ball. So you'll probably talk about that a bit later.
I suppose in terms of coaching, Frank, there's a balance in that cost probably between you want to win, but there's an entertainment aspect as well.
Well, I'm just laughing at Gerard saying he's retired, and I was told today he's going to be player manager of Cullyhanna because he still has a job to do down there. I went to see, I'm a Galway man originally, and I went to see Galway play Roscommon in the first match of the year. And I looked at myself and I said, thanks to the God I happened to pay. I had a players class, and thanks to the God I happened to pay in here tonight, because it was the worst I've ever seen. And Galway has been one of the teams we always look to play this. It was pure rubbish. It was something that I never saw before. And I remember standing in Croke Park a few years ago when Monaghan were going well. And it's all talk about Kevin Walsh got thrown out of the Galway job because of defensive football, and like Galway has to play a certain style. And Dublin were playing the same style. Galway played them in an All-Ireland semi-final. Galway had equally as many texts, but when they went into Mr. Brawley and Mr. Spillane and all these guys, they ridiculed Galway, and they never once mentioned that Dublin had the same amount of texts in the first half as Galway had. And I remember watching 2 or 3 years ago, Monaghan were playing, and Rory Legan was the only player in the Monaghan half, and they were all talking about the great style of Dublin. So Dublin was much as Jim Beginners.
This defensive style, the only thing that they did is that they break at pace. And if you had defensive style is great, and you can break at pace. You have Cian Walsh, you have Ryan O'Neill and things like that, good players. Then you can break the defensive system. But as we go and watching the match, I think you could go to a club match this year. And this is, I'm a man that has
It's about 20 clubs at this stage. I either got sacked or won the championship. There was no in between with me. So that's basically, and it just didn't go because I saw my own club Latin. They had men in from Tyrone, and Monaghan seems to have a fascination of bringing men in from Tyrone to show them how to play football.
So did Derry.
Well, I didn't.
I think Mickey had maybe seen just right over the border there where Louth is. He had maybe peaked where he was peaking, and he'd probably seen the next best opportunity. I don't know how it all came about or who initiated the conversation, but I know they play each other in the second league game this year in the 5th of February or something, so I think probably for Tyrone people it would be worse. I think Derry people have accepted it, got over it. You know, I know Joe Brawley made a big deal about it at the time. Brian Mullins managed Derry to Ulster title in '98. He's a Dublin man. Rory Gallagher was there first year. Kieran Mina was a Tyrone man, took over from Gallagher the day they beat our man penalties. So, like Derry's last 3 Ulster titles have been all with an outside man to helm. So it just might be a bit stranger the fact it's Mickey, but
Not if they win. If Derry start winning, they won't give a damn if Mickey Hart's wife is out with him as well. They won't care. It's all about winning, as we said, because of the defensive system.
Just on the defensive systems, Martin, does defensive systems always mean a bad game of football? Because I suppose Cullyhanna and Ballyhaise is a good example. It wasn't overly attacking, but it was still a good game. And we watched Sherlock and Cross just after that, and it was a poor game, also defensive. So does defensive always mean a bad game?
Not necessarily. You take the Cross and Lane game. I remember seeing it to Ryan O'Neill. He picked up a ball on his own 45-metre lane, and he looked up inside, and he had a really second the ball back out with nobody inside. Like Kevin Campbell, Jimmy Clark, they were all back in the defence, so it was, nobody inside. I don't think it actually suits the Cross the Lane, because there were 2 different stages of football from the previous manager, probably who was very much attack-minded, and the current one was very defence-minded. So, but it's a bit like, you have players. You team as players and you have to play to their strengths, and maybe it doesn't suit some games, you have an inside forward, like you take the next Ryan O'Neill, if I'm playing Ryan O'Neill tonight, on Sunday, that's what I want. I want to come back in the defence, being back the same Kieran McConville. It was in the championship last year, Kieran McConville inside, I think he ran more through 10 points for inside. Against Rennick, he was back in the defence. So it all depends what different management teams, different managers, and the back of the team decide what they want to play. Quite knows reflect on what sort of team you have.
I suppose probably the underdog is always going to be defensive. If there's a forward on the opposition team that's shooting the lights out, you're going to man mark them, double man mark them, as Jared alluded to, maybe get a sweeper in front of them. So the underdog's going to play defensive. On the way the counter attack has evolved, the favourites nearly need to set up a mirror image of that system just so they don't get hit on the counter.
Yeah, I do think you mentioned the 2 games we played previously against 2 defence teams in Leitrim and in Ballyhaise. Pomeroy very well set up defensively. We knew that they were going to be set up defensively, get a lot of men back, and then break quickly on counter-attack. And then, we get with that, and we get away a point, and it was a great win, and it gave us a real boost confidence moving forward. Again, going into the Leitrim game, we knew that they were going to set up defensively, which they did, probably even more defensively in Pomeroy. But the difference between the Leitrim game and the Pomeroy game was that, Leitrim just didn't have, that extra 1 or 2 players up front, and they weren't maybe breaking together at pace and 3s and 4s, which they needed to, whenever they're playing that sort of system. So on any given day, depending on who you're playing, you're going to have to set up differently. And as Martin said, with different teams, they're going to have different tactics then, depending on what players are playing with them. So again, we're playing Ballyhaise now on Sunday. It's going to be a different game altogether. Again, probably going to be key set up defensively as well at the start till we sort of get ourselves in the game. But that's the way football is nowadays, unfortunately. That's the way you want to look at it,
And Jared, Carol Keane penned an article this week just on the sort of commitment that comes with playing county football and the standards that are driven at county level are now filtering down the clubs, and it's becoming less enjoyable. And I suppose when you're winning championships like Glenullen and Cullyhanna, it's not a slog. So I suppose, do you agree with that article, or do you see that the club level is still a good bit away from county level, or has it changed that much?
I think I can probably agree with most of it, and I know from my own experience, I stopped playing for Derry in 2016, 33, with the view of still reasonably good shape. I said I would like to go back, give my club 4 or 5 real good years, and you go back to your club then, and you're working at a higher standard, higher commitment level at county level, and you try to implement them levels at club level. And you realise it's maybe just not simple as that, because guys have a lot of stuff going on in their life. Guys play club football for a variety of different reasons, whether it's because their friends play, whether it's a social outlet, play in the community, all that sort of stuff. So I found it hard to adjust that not everybody's living like a county player, and it took me a while to switch that off. But I think gradually more and more county players go into a club setup, and if there's enough of them, they sort of, all the guys maybe see them, look up to them, and their sort of commitment, their attitude rubs off on club players then, and club players around them say, well, I want to be like Ross, or I want to be like Aidan, or that sort of thing, and they start maybe doing what they're doing, and before they know it, even without realising that they're living that sort of lifestyle. So I think club football is sort of like this is intermediate club football we're talking about. If you can imagine the likes of what the top clubs in Armagh are doing, I wouldn't be known 1-to-1 what Glenmahar are doing, or Stanhill or Mahafelt. I have a fair idea. Like, it's not that far off it, and I can see why Cathar paying that, and I can also see how the sort of drives they creeped in without coming in as a wave. But players see that coming from the county setup, and they want to just try and get the best out of themselves. And I know it might sound cliched, and you can sit up here and you can sound like Enda McNulty all night and talk about like, being the best version of yourself and all this sort of stuff. But that's what club players are like nowadays, because they see the committees, mostly in the whole, are willing to invest as well. And if the committee's willing to invest, they'll expect the player to give back on the other end. So I think there's a fine balance there to be struck. I suppose it's up to a strong management to actually try and strike that balance, to tell lads, look, if you're a club player and you're training for the whole of February, the whole of March, Bruce Springsteen coming here next April or May or something, I would know for a fact there could be 1,000 club players in Ireland with tickets for that, and maybe half of them then they might miss it because they've club training on. If I was a club manager, I would say, look, you've been there 15, 20 nights, go on the night, take your girlfriend away, you'll be back for another 10 nights. You missing that night in April won't make a difference in July or August time. But I think that's the management has to be very aware of all that and be strong about it, and I suppose treat players like adults.
I suppose commitment's such a big thing, it's such a big talking point nowadays, but Martin, there's been a lot of commitment put into this Cullyhanna squad over the last, 10 more years, when Stephen Reela's had a big part in that, the couple under 21 successes and that. But to reach an Ulster final now, I suppose, what does that mean to the club? And we'll not talk just yet about winning one, but to get to an Ulster final, what's that like for the club?
What it means to this club is it's unbelievable. The best, hopefully, be the best year of this club's career or the next time. But you have to hand it to the likes of Stephen Reel, Malachy Mack, and all the background team. Like, must be up at 10 years since they won 4 under 21 titles, and then the same guys are still there managing the senior team. And it wasn't it wasn't a fault that we got relegated into senior boys emigrating and the lads getting injured and boys taking time out. Having a life because they're not professional players and they're entitled to do this. But it was just we were blessed that everybody seemed to come back at one time. Boys come back from Australia, boys come back from America, and boys wanted to play again. So it all blended in brilliantly, just for this particular year. It was mighty, and like last Sunday here at the big breakfast, we were, we're in December, and we're coming to the jaws of Christmas, and we're still playing football, and this county, we love our football, and I see the tickets, or the draw was put out for the National League, and we tried I asked my wife today to book the Cork and the Kildare away games, and we're lucky to get a room in some of these hotels, so it's actually brilliant, so
Don't forget to go away again.
Get away. I was at home.
Don't go Armagh Division 2, don't go away game.
All right. Yeah, but
So it's all the big teams as you want. Armagh, this is do.
But it's an unreal day for this club. Every Monday morning you're waking up and work doesn't matter all week. Okay, you get it done, but it's just all you think of is Sunday. That's all we think of. Like last Sunday here, I was talking to he's a brilliant character, Ronnie Dornan. I was sitting here at the big breakfast last Sunday, and we're just sitting down there, and all the girls were cleaning up the tables, and it was a cool day, and we were sitting there, me and Oni was sitting talking there for about an hour, and we noticed all the tables was cleared here, and the tables was cleared down there, and I think they were looking us to move. So they opened the back door, and there was a breeze coming in, and me and Oni stayed on, and we talked away, and then all of a sudden I seen this door open in here, and say, Oni, I think they want us to go. But it's characters like that mean so much to the club and different men. It's unreal for the club.
Polly, I asked you that question the last time we were doing our podcast. What would it mean to get to the final? And you're here now, and Martin's talking about the build-up with this tonight. He's had the big breakfast. There's good luck signs. There's flags all over the place. It's such a good build-up and such a good 2 weeks for the club to enjoy.
Absolutely, yeah. It's great to be because Martin alluded there. It's great to see big breakfast on Sunday and so many people here and coming in their colours and all the young people out. And just on that, it's great for the younger underage teams within the club seeing the senior team having this wee bit of success, because then it's going to mean for them down the line that they'll maybe train that wee bit harder and they'll want to replicate then with their maybe older brothers and cousins and uncles and whatnot have been doing okay. The last 2 weeks, brilliant build up, and just hoping then come Sunday that we can go one step further, and we're looking forward to an All-Ireland series at the end of the year.
That's obviously the same in Ballyhaise, Frank. But I suppose for the players and the management, it's striking the balance between enjoying the build-up, because Ulster finals don't come every year, but also you have a game to focus on.
Yeah, and any time we ever got to a final, we always try to play it as low key as possible. Never changed anything, because if you did change something, it kind of makes the hype and then it becomes a bigger thing than what it actually is. The object is the two teams is to win the championship and be playing in an All-Ireland semi-final and maybe get a chance to play in Croke Park, which is a big carrot for the lads that when they can have the talent that Gerard has and Martin has to get to play in Croke Park. Okay, I was lucky enough to get there once, but it's a great feeling to be there. So, great feeling for the club. And I know Ballyhaise have gone through a lot. As I said, I managed them before I went down another route. And I said, rated as one of my best achievements was keeping them in senior. And we lost the semi-final of the Intermediate Championship by a pint. And we had one man hit the ball 27 times and gave it away 26. And how do you take him off? He's getting every ball, and yet maybe not the next one. I remember we had Aidan Waters, his son is playing Sunday, but he had brought a jersey in, and the team were playing Ballyhaise County Champions with the T-shirt, Ballyhaise County Champions. And sure, he showed us to the boys, we didn't even have to open the door, just went out to the door. So we over-motivated them that day, so it's getting the balance right. We went too far that day, and they were too hyper, and they missed points that they normally would have. So for your club, which is a senior club, up to when they put out this year, and you leave that. So you are a senior club and everything but names, so it is achievable for you to go on and win. Ballyhaise are also a senior club, and they have 4. I know you have 3 county players. They have 4 on the panel. They have a very good goalkeeper. Excellent kickouts, excellent everything. I know that John Divley and UCD kept him back for another year to win a Sigerson Cup. That's being injured. His brother plays midfield and he should be on the Sigerson Cup team, but Joanna Sofer is always Sigerson Cup team. He's a lot to be desired. And then these 2 Brady's, no relation. And David was the best prospect at 17, and injury kind of curtailed him. And then he got a reputation as if you hit him hard and hit him off. But he's got over that now, so he's playing good football. So they are a good footballing team, and they're going to play good football, and they'll be very direct. And they're confident, as you have to be going into any final, and they've lost. They got the monkey off the back. They lost, I think it's 3 in a row they lost. This was the 4th one to play, so winning this one was a big achievement for them. And they'll get from strength to strength, and the monkey's off the back, as in McCavan were seen as the great underachievers because they had won more Division 2 and 3 underage, which is an issue because they should have been put them up senior Division 1 in under 14, 15, 16, but they chose to keep them down to win cups, and then the young boys got so used to winning. But this team are different. This team know how to win now. They know how to lose. And in order to know how to win, you have to know how to lose. And I think that this will be a great game Sunday. And young Byron from Donaghmine is a very good young referee, so he'll keep up with the game. And he's a very good referee. He's an up-and-coming referee. I reckon he could be on the county. Well, he is on the county panel, but he'll be moving up for the next year in National League matches. So you will have a good referee, and you won't be able to give him any. You won't take any bad numbers because I think that's. So I don't know whether he gave it or not. I don't know enough about you, but I know I gave enough myself when I was on the sidelines, so I can't give out to anybody for doing that. But he is a good referee, and you're going to get a good football team because they are fierce and they are strong, and they're not that old. They're not an old team. A lot of them are 23, 24, 21. Like 2 midfielders. Young Pro is 19. He was on the county minors last year, 17. He's only 18. Rayon O'Rourke beat Monaghan on his own nearly 2 years ago. Damien Dunne was over them, and David McCaig. It was a big shock, but Rayon O'Rourke slide a Monaghan team that night. So, and the goalkeeper has a fantastic trajectory of kicking out, and he always looked to put it in the pockets and then move over left and right. And he actually heard him in an interview in Northern Sound after the final, and he kept probably one of the most mature interviews I've ever given seen a young lad give. So they won't be easy beaten, but you don't want it to be easy. You want to win it by playing the better football, which I think you can.
In terms of the referee, Martin, Cullyhanna wouldn't give any grief to the referee or nothing from the line, they wouldn't?
No, we wouldn't be giving referees any abuse, no. It's funny, the one thing that I had to say to a certain individual in there is try to stay on the pitch. If you have a chance as the team for winning, please would you stay on the pitch. That's the last thing I take out the door every day. So,
He's got better at that.
He's got better. Maybe he's starting to listen, I think, maybe. Mother side on that agree.
Jared, obviously Ballyhaise overcame your Glenullen side a couple of weeks ago in the semi-final, so you know a right bit about them. You've seen them that day. I think you know a few of the Cullyhanna boys as well, racking about the Holy Lands when you're in uni.
I would. This is probably complimentary. It's not patronized, but it was sort of soft spot, this sort of area. I'm going way back now, talking 20 plus years, that I sort of rare in the GA family. Like my father was just immersed in it, and they were well respected through the area. And any time there was football on, we were going to see football. And I had finished my school at 2003, was to pass Mahara, going to Queen's the following year, and I said we'd go up and watch a Queen's game up the Duck. So we had no sort of connection up at that time. Now I ended up going to Queen's and playing in 4 Sigerson finals in a row, and we actually won the 4th one. And we had some great Armagh lads playing with us, like Paul Courtney and Charlie Burnham was our midfield axis. Micheál O'Rourke was up front. Aidan O'Rourke was along the line with James McCartan. So great relationship with all them lads. But me and my father went up to watch Queen's play St Mary's one day, and the Gooch came in to focus around the day our man won the All-Ireland at 02, it was his first year, it was breakthrough year. And we were watching St Mary's, and from afar, there was a guy come up the field, and he gave a 1-2, got it back, another 1-2, got it back, and he stuck the ball in the net. And it made me far. Sort of, you know, it's like from there, you're sort of watching, you're at the far side of the pitch, and there's a fella from our club, a very close friend of mine, Lawrence O'Keefe, he happened to be near the sideline, and I says, who's your man? Is that the Gooch? And he says, you don't see the Gooch wearing a goatee. It was Paul Toner. And they reckon they never shaved the goatee for months after it, because he said it was good luck, and he died out on it. But then, through that guy Lawrence, Lawrence been down here a few times together. I got to know Paul, Shane Lennon. I know that Shane's been through a tough time the last couple of months, and probably like stuff like this can be bittersweet if you're maybe company Christmas and you've maybe lost someone in the family, and that for that 1 hour or that weekend that maybe takes people's mind off. I know they've young children in the family circle, like, and they're probably oblivious to it. Oh, there's just football. But for other people, like, I'm sure that it's difficult for them. There's people not here, but I come from a small community myself, and I know what the sort of lift this can give people. But I sort of got to know them guys. We're running about Belfast then, and it was then 12 years ago. Our club done a development draw, and at that, this was before WhatsApp, before PayPal. You had to go out and knock on a door. You couldn't send links to anybody, so we organised it that everybody would take an area in Ulster, and if you knew someone, you get in contact with them, and they will help you around the area. I was actually over in Drummondtee with the O'Rourke's 2 weeks before. Lawrence, he says, sure, I'll ring Len and Toner and we'll go down to Cullyhanna and sell tickets. So me, Lawrence, and this other guy from our club went down. The handiest meeting place was in Newton Hamilton. I think it was Savage's Pub at the time, along the main street. We went to a wee cafe up the side of it, if I mind right. And then Toner took us into the pub. And well, we're just waiting to meet people. But Lawrence, he thought he was pulling a fly one, you see. He hadn't seen some of the boys in a while, so he would go out and see Shane down at the home place, and myself and Paul and this other lad from our club sat on. I said, right, we'll drink a pint and wait. Sure, wasn't it Market Saturday down in Newton Hamilton? And if you talk about Market Saturday, wealthy farmers, cash, sure, we were there to sell tickets. And we sat for 3 years, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I left the pub after maybe 7 pints, after not buying one, and I sold £500 worth of tickets in the pub. This man just sort of accosted every man coming out the door, and he sort of made them buy a ticket. So Lawrence came back about 2 or 3 years later, and he said, what the fuck's going on here? He says, you're the man who's selling tickets. I said, we have. You know, so the next thing, we started, only at that point, we started to go around the village, and around all the back roads and all that sort of stuff. So he was taking us around, and I remember we got to Kieran McKeever's house. I'd meet myself and Paddy played in the same Railway Cup team as Kieran. We went to London, we won a Railway Cup, and I was knowing him quite well. And we were in there for a while, and the sort of pints are wearing off, and you're just not feeling that great. Sure, they hands a couple more tins. And we were driving in the countryside, knocking doors, selling tickets, and Toner says, look, we have one more stop before we go. We're going up to see the priest. And I said, look, I'm not going to see a priest. I have no form or shape to be going to chat to a priest. He said, look, this man won't mind. So we went up to this big house, and you're sort of standing at the door, and you're trying to compose yourself, and you're blowing a wee bit. And we knocked the door, and sure, the priest, he opened the door and said, Jesus, Paul, come on, as if he's in every night of the week. Now, he maybe hasn't need to be, but so there was a guy from home, and he brought us in, and Paul says, these guys are here to sell tickets, and they've come along. And he turned, I swear, beside his table at the door, he picked up a ticket. So our club was a bit ahead of the time, and that we had sent every club in Ireland through postal a ticket with on it. I needed a begging letter and a postage stamp. And it was only the cost of the stamp and the letter. If you're brazen enough to get most clubs sent it back, I think you did, so you're all right, okay? But the priest, and we sent one to every Brooklyn house in Ireland too, just before you send links out, and the priest had bought one, and he says, I already bought take it off, we just come this far and buy another one. So Father Cullen then bought another ticket. And off we went home with about £750-800 in your pocket. And we gathered in the clubhouse that night. You always have to go and meet. And my father was sort of organising it all. There was no WhatsApp groups to say who done what where. And I said, look, boys, I made a killing down there. I said, 7 or 8 pints, great day's crack. And they were like, how did you? I said, look, Lawrence Dew Toner, we got round, there's great people, couldn't say a bad word about them. And everybody was like, well, see, the next time we're selling tickets, I'm for Cullyhanna. And just so you know, we haven't done it for 12 years. And we are 100 years old in 2025. And like, there is clubs who will say they're 100 years, but they're not. They maybe took a break. We're 100 years unbroken, and we're holding a big draw now in 18 months' time. So, I know PayPal will be on the go, and you might get links through, but if anybody wants, and this place opens at 12 o'clock on a Saturday, I'll come down and I will offer my services if you're keen enough. But sort of soft spot for this area of the country.
We'll have to on our live podcast with Jerky and after a couple of pints, maybe. Paddy, looking ahead to Sunday, I know the last time in the semi-final it was in Blaney, and we were sort of laughing on the last podcast. It was a nice home game for Cullyhanna, and you're back at home this week.
Back home this week, yeah. Listen, I don't do 50, but we'll take it all day long. 15, 20 minutes outdoor broths, maybe about 40, 45 minutes for Ballyhaise. Definitely probably you would say a slight advantage for us having played the semi-final in Blaney. You know, players love routine and familiarity, and that's the way you're going to have going back over the same pad, changing the same change rooms, probably sitting in the same seats, warming up on the warm-up field. Like, players love that. Having that wee bit of familiarity that, you know, Ballyhaise aren't going to have. But at the same time, in the quarterfinal against Pomeroy, we played Pomeroy in Healy Park. Pomeroy had played half of their championship games in Healy Park. So you would have said that would have been an advantage for them. So yes, I would say a slight advantage for us for playing the game in Blaney, but definitely it's not going to be the winning the game, and we're still going to have to go out and perform from there. Hopefully we can over the line. But yeah, definitely Blaney, we're happy with it. Like.
I suppose that last day out, Martin, it wasn't as challenging as Paddy's mentioning the first game against Pomeroy. The first half, Cullyhanna just didn't play as well as they can, but in the second half they really stepped things on and they were really impressive and won, I think it was 11 points in the end.
Because in the first half, I thought it was going to be one of those days, you know, I think we had 8 or 9 wides, and you're saying this is going to be another one of these days, and you know, when you're keeping the other team in it, you say to yourself, you know, they're going to come out the second half and maybe, you know, push on. But lucky enough, we come out the second half, they probably got a good talking to at half time, and they never look back. But it was funny. And they talk about managing teams nowadays and how coaches coach teams. Like at no stage that the Leitrim, they sat back the whole time. Like even when they were 8 or 9 points behind, they just stuck to this system that they have. And I don't know whether it's coaching the players that sometimes sooner or later, you know, when are we going to have a go at this? You know, if you're 8 or 9 points down, you have to say to yourself, you know, we'll have to pass no marks at the system and have a go at it. But Leitrim didn't do that, you know. So, listen, what do you do? Like,
I think that was a big thing from that game, the fact that Leitrim didn't come out. Yeah. But Frank, you reckon Ballyhaise is going to have a real go at this? They're going to be playing front foot football?
Yeah, they see this as a big chance to do something. And Cavan Arva have already won the junior. Now, Arva are an enemy, whereas they play senior football and they're playing junior championship. And there would be one of the favourites for the junior championship. Ballyhaise are a good team. Under no illusions, they're fit, they're well organised, and they have done a lot of work. And as I said, they have the 2 O'Rourke's, the 2 Brady's, they have a few other fellas there, young pro. So they will be, and they'll play football, and they'll let you play football. So it will be a very good game of football. And they don't have an out-and-out scoring forward that they used to have. You know, Kevin Tierney, when I had him, he was only coming on the scene, and he had so much potential, but like a lot of other young lads at potential at 17 or 18, whether they get too much football or whether they think, but he just got tired and he got staying and he went away for a while. But he's back now and he's actually a good man and a good player, and he can score. He can always score. So if he could lift his game, he will be in a game, because he is always rate him as a very good footballer. As a young lad, I haven't seen him play that much in the last thing. But they have a strong midfield, and I don't know enough about your team to know what your midfield is like, but they have a very strong. I was talking to Damien Dunnan, who managed to Cavan on the 20s, and I said, Brian O'Rourke looks like he's a bit slow. That would be the thing that they'd be given against him. He's big, strong, 6'4". He says he might be a little bit slow for county, but he's not slow for the level he's playing at now. He's actually a speed archer at the level. He's improved his game on. So they'll be confident enough of playing. Like Young Waters will be a good type cornerback. Young Moore, if he plays, will be a good player as well. And young McKiernan lad, actually his brother was supposed to be the first coming, but he didn't play. But this lad has, and this lad is a good footballer and has made the place his own the last 2 or 3 games where he was struggling to come on. I think Ballyhaise tonight could have. I know my big problem when I was trying them was we used to have too many. We used to have 48 trying. So they have big numbers. The funny thing about it is the two O'Rourkes live from here to the crossroads away from Cavan Gales around it. The Young Crows, all these parents play with Drummond, so they've got the cream out of Cavan down, so underestimate them at your peril. And if you don't underestimate them, you have 3 county players, so if they all play up to the standard that they can play, you should win it. But I'd still tip Ballyhaise to win in penalties.
We get our predictions and maybe talk a bit about penalties once we come to the finish. But Paddy, an open game of football, I would imagine it would suit Cullyhanna if they were playing man to man. I think at this level, Cullyhanna would be happy enough that they have a forward line that could at least match any other team.
Yeah, probably seen the important throughout the Armagh Championship, like we were pretty born in the Armagh Championship, and then obviously come up through you're playing against more competitive teams and getting a bit more defensive. As we spoke already, like Ballyhaise is no bad team, they're in merit. No bad team gets going up to the final. The last 3 games are averaging 19 points themselves. That's good kicking. And they're set up well defensively. And that 1 point win that they got over Jared's Lund team, that'll be massive for that team, because whenever we got the 1 point win over Pomeroy, it really boosted our confidence and knew that we weren't out of place in this competition, and really gave us a lift and a bit of confidence that we can kick on and progress through the rounds. But listen, I think it's going to be a good game. As I said, probably might be set up defensively at the start, but I'm hoping Ballyhaise is maybe the more traditional sort of format, maybe they can go 15-15-0 against Glenulm with the threat of one Bradley to maybe drop maybe an extra man back on a 1, but I might do that possibly with Aidan, maybe put 2 men on Aidan, but as it happened against Glenulm sort of got a wee bit of joy out of, Ballyhaise double up on a man and left sort of other men free, so if they do sort of tend to double up on Aidan or whoever it is inside, maybe Shear, whoever it is, well then hopefully that will lead to some of our other forwards then to step up and hopefully then take us into the next round,
And Jared, as we mentioned, you've seen them the last day out. They've scored 529 in their 2 Ulster games. So that would suggest that they've a decent attack. Is that what you would have took from their game with you?
Probably that's we suppose we done our due diligence on them. You have 2 weeks between each game. You spend 7-8 days looking at them, and then you sort of focus on yourself. But as Frank said, like, their keeper's very good. And I got married there recently, and I got married to Cavan one, and our club happened to be beat by him in the semi-final of Cavan. And I was starting to make a few calls too. The first thing everybody said is their keeper. This boy can pick a pass. He's in around the Cavan score. He's a good left foot. He doesn't come out and play the way Megan plays, but he can control the game. I think like in the Cavan Championship, the team that they beat in the semi-final, going not too bad, pushed up aggressively in the kickouts, and he fit the ping one over the top, goal in the net. Next thing, you're defending the 3-point lead. Now, I'm not telling anybody anything that any trade secrets here that your management team won't have found out. But for you people sitting here, like if we're going to the game on Sunday, they have a good full back in that he's probably not an actual full back. And like Gallery's there nearly by default because there's no one else. And like old Bradley's 40 now in a couple of weeks, and Skinner was destroying him. At 40 years of age, a guy, Mark the guy 25, probably should be getting his. Now, Owen's a gifted talent in his own right, and he just is that sort of he's a generational player. But this guy was moved out of fullback. Once he got out, he caused us serious baller. I think he's a midfielder by natural. Went to full forward, caused us a lot of baller. The guy in the half-back line, I think he's playing 2 most of the year, but you'll notice him because he's wearing goggles. I think he's number 5 again. This boy can run, and he will, like, very direct, hard runner. He will finish the run, so he gets the end of the ball. So he just doesn't sort of hovering outside and they'll pull men with them. But then, as Frank said, once they get to midfield, like we knew where their strengths lay, we were content that we would have been an aggressive front foot team. It was an open game of football, like end to end, plenty of goal chances, spills here and there. Probably to our detriment, we didn't slow it down at the time we should have, because we were 4 up on the 48th minute. We were still 2 up in the 53rd minute, and they got a goal. And we took everything they fired at us, and we were still winning. And I suppose that's why we were really disappointed that we're not in the final, because their scores came off our mistakes from that point onwards. It wasn't a case of brilliant play or anything like that. Their scores came off our mistakes because we had sort of figured them out. They had 4 forwards, 6'1", 6'2", say, tall, lean. They can move as well. Like that's what they are, good up front. But again, we were happy enough to match them physically, and we didn't play with 10 men back. I don't think it's your style either. If you're happy enough to match them physically and go at them, I suppose it's just about getting the match up right. Their inside forward line is decent now. They have a Michael Bailey lad who kicked 1-6 against us. I kicked 1-6. David Brady kicked 1-1. And the midfielder, or the other guy you referred to, Tierney, kicked 0-3. Tierney hadn't been starting all year. He was on the team along with the number 11. They sort of changed every day. A guy Moore. It's the first day they played the two of them together. But they do sort of put a lot of faith in their forward line. Once they get the guy at the full back, they put one of the midfielders in the full back to Mark Skinner. But it turned into a Paul and Hall match, to be honest, and they got Skinner booked. Like, with all due respect, like, they had Paul Flute was refereeing, and I would rate Paul as a decent referee. And I wouldn't fault any team for playing to the line or that. They had 7 yellow cards the time we had none. And they were rash, and a lot of them was heavy. Like, you're talking that sort of, you know, suppose if you get away with it, you can play to the line. Fair play, no cribbing, no crying either, but we just felt that they got away with a bit too much at that level, because we found out as you go into the Ulster, referees are completely different. They're being assessed to the nth degree, and teams get lucky sending off Tomas McCann, got to get Glenn Mara. He didn't even get a second chance to slow down. The man turned into him. Tomas was probably going for a hit, and he timed it wrong, but we just felt that they sort of played the line a bit. So I'm assuming your management team will have all this dissected in the last 2 weeks, but for you people sitting on here, it's not the sort of thing you look into. But now you will know it. Like, you have a fair idea from myself and Frank what they'll bring to the table, and both of us sort of were really saying the same thing.
They'll bring on a fella called Sean McCormack. He's about 34, 35. He was next to footballer. He was in around the county for a while. Didn't actually make it. But if he comes on now, he's very aggressive. I'd say he got hooked, I think, after 2 minutes coming on against G.
Well, they'd say the same. They end up with 10, but we had 2.
Yeah, but Sean McCormack he'll bring aggression, and they could throw him in full back if they felt the need to thing. He brings a lot, and he brings experience to the team. He's in Dublin, I say that's why he's in and out. But he is actually a good footballer as well.
The kick-out press, I think, is going to be really interesting, Martin, because Jared and Frank both alluded to the goalkeeper, and then he can kick out the press and can pick a kick pass. But Cullyhanna got a real joy off the Leitrim kick-out the last day, and we've seen in Armagh their kick-out press, just the sheer physical size you're in the middle of the field, like the Jake Duffy, your Ross, Pierce Casey, Barry McConville. Like, if Cullyhanna do press on this keeper, and he's fit to kick it out over the top, that could be a problem for Cullyhanna, or it could work out that because of the sheer size of them, that it works out okay.
Yeah, it seems to be that it'll actually might suit us if he wants to go long, like, you know. But like, maybe our forwards and half backs need to be really tuned into the game, you know, because and even the long ball over the top, if we do push up, you know, this long ball over the top, you know, the one the Began puts, if everybody presses up, he pushes the ball over the top. So we'll have to be very aware of that, you know. It seems to be a big thing with them, you know. But maybe our full back lane and half backs maybe need to sit back and mind house and engage just from there. Maybe not, you know. Maybe we need to get more men behind the ball, and maybe they seem to be getting a lot of scores, so they mightn't be that impressed. But maybe if they got a, you know, we were maybe a wee bit more defensive minded, you know. So that point of view, you know. But I did hear that their goalkeeper was a serious bit of stuff, like, you know. So everybody needs to be tuned into the game.
In terms of the defensive aspect of the game, Paddy, I suppose the Leitrim game, there was two things maybe Cullyhanna would have took from it. Is their shot selection maybe in the first half, and a bit in the second half let them down. And also Leitrim did get a bit of joy in the first half when they kicked good ball in, particularly Conor McCrickard. Once he stayed in full forward, he did win a mark, and I think he scored 3 points in the first half. If Ballyhaise do kick the ball in, Cullyhanna, they're going to just be worried that they can't be giving away marks or scores like Conor McGregor picked up in the semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely. Conor McGregor, he was great there for Leitrim. He was their go-to man. He was a real threat. But I'd be confident with everybody too. Like, you know, in the first half against Leitrim, you know, we kicked 4 balls wide and 5 short. And they got a good talk there at half time when they went out, and they really got their shot potentially a lot better in the second half, shot selection a lot better in the second half. So I'd be confident from our attacking point of view. Against Ballyhaise now, full-back nine's going to be up against a different proposition altogether. As Whitey already mentioned, like your boy Dale Brady, he'd probably sit in, he's probably a more physical, more aggressive player than the likes of Conor McCrickard, so probably we was thinking maybe Sean would maybe pick him up, Sean Mallory. But yeah, it's different to the game, but like, as Jared said, like, the boys like 2 weeks analysed this, and they would have done this, you know, in detail. Like, we're only covering wee bits and pieces of it, like, they would have had their analysis done from the next morning after they got the video of their previous games. You know, they're going to leave no stone unturned in their preparation. They're going to be ready for a challenge. It's going to be a different challenge. As Frank was saying, they're probably looking more traditional. Maybe they might go 15v15, maybe something that we haven't seen in the last 2 games. But whatever Ballyhaise bring to the table, I'm confident their boys are ready for them. No.
I suppose no matter what, Martin, no matter what we discuss or whatever happens, the two teams have never met before, so there's just Ulster brings that element of the unknown. So really, tactics and everything that we discuss, it's not going to go out the window, but it's all easy talking. But once you hit the field, it's impossible to know really what you're coming up against.
Yeah, like, it's not like a local derby. If you go in to play across the Glen or Silver Bridge or something like that, you know man to man who you're going to get. But this is the unknown, and maybe this is the beauty of it. And you know, that's what makes it so brilliant. Like, you know, okay, you have your tactics and you analyse the opposition, but on any given day, you don't know what. It's all the unknown, and that's what makes it so brilliant. Like, you know.
And before we finish up, Martin, I'll just get the predictions from each of you. I assume I know what you're going to say, but who do you see coming out on top on Sunday?
Oh, hopefully Cullyhanna. That's, yeah, all day long. Can't see no other way.
I didn't expect anything else. Frank, how do you see it going?
You're going to be facing the Leitrim game could be actually good or bad for you, because I've seen it like that where you go and you win a semi-final fairly handy, and Leitrim, they struggle to beat a reasonably poor enough Killarney team, so that's, you're coming up at a different level up, and these boys are very motivated to try and do this. I would have to go, and I'm seriously, knowing your record of penalties against Galway and against everybody else, I'll pick Ballyhaise to win on penalties.
We have a Galway man living in Monaghan and a Derry man coming to Armagh talking about penalties, so that's the last thing we want to talk about. Paddy, you've predicted Cullyhanna the last 2 games, and you were right that I'm sure you're not going to change your mind.
No, definitely not. Probably a lot has been made of both teams' attacking threat, and yeah, they definitely do have their players on attack for both teams, but just defensively, I think, especially since we sort of got into the Ulster series, that their defence has been so solid. You know, 10 points against Pomeroy, 6 points against Leitrim, only 1 point in the second half of that game against Leitrim. I'm really backing their defence, and I think they're going to be under pressure from it. But if they can come through and give them a serious shift, I'd be confident to get over the line by a couple of points.
So 2 for Cullyhanna, 1 for Ballyhaise. Jared, you're the deciding vote.
Well, I actually done a podcast yesterday for Gaelic Life with Mal McMahon. He's a dairy man, so he's asked me a bit of insight, and I backed Cullyhanna, and that, not knowing was coming here tonight, so I don't think we have any reason to change it just because we swayed by a home crowd or anything. So, but just whenever you mentioned that, just that one line, it just sort of stuck on me. You said a dairy man coming to Armagh to chat about penalties. I thought I was going to get a bit of heckling from the crowd there, because if you think in 2011, penalties were 14 yards out during the National League. They moved to 11, and they didn't move till after Congress, so the championship. And there's a always a quiz question that was asked every so often in our club. It's like that day I was sitting in the bar down in Newton. Who was the first man to miss an 11-yard penalty? It was myself. Against our man, I don't know if any of you remember it, up in Selby Park, with 3 minutes to go, we were 3 points down, and we got a penalty, and I had a record of roughly 10 and 10 before, like I was hitting well, and I was shooting into the Brandywell end, but it's alright until you see Paul Hardy coming, and he took that size, and I missed a penalty, and it did take me a long time getting over it, and that was 2010, and I didn't expect every time I went to sit, maybe order a drink in a bar in Newton, this man down here, we went to the toilet and they whispered to somebody, shout down and ask that man the penalty. And these farmers around on that didn't know who it was. And every time somebody came in the door, somebody asked me about it. But if you ever asked me, it was wasting, I was the first to hit yard penalty miss.
So that's 3 for Cullyhanna. Jared, I think you're thinking of your ticket sales maybe in 18 months' time.
I was thinking like that. I was actually chatting to another man, like the GA place is a small world, and you have a lot of connections everywhere. I was chatting to another lad the day he was telling me I was coming here, and I couldn't believe it when he told me that I would know Paul by chatting to him. I know that you're doing great work at underage, and you're especially under 8, 12, 10, 12s, but I couldn't believe it whenever I found out that the best asset you have in your club is a Silver Bridge man coaching your underage weans, and I just couldn't get over it. So there's a lad, he teaches in the primary school here, Aaron Duffy. Aaron is going with Dermot McNichol, daughter from Glenalm. So Aaron is in my home house fairly regular because Dermot's daughter and my sister are best mates. So I have a chat with him on a regular basis. So I told him I was coming here tonight. He says, well, you make sure I tell him that all them under 10s and 12s that he gets his hands on, he's the reason if he's won a championship in 10 years. He says that while they have a championship, he says, they always cling to the fact they don't have a president and waiting, so.
Martin, I know before we finish up, you want to give a shout out to your friend Kieran Lennon?
Oh, Kieran Leonard, yeah. I don't say hello to Kieran tonight. He's away in Bullaband playing cards tonight, and I was warned, make sure you say hello. He says he's a Pat's #1 fan now. So I have to say hello to Kieran tonight.
Just before we finish up, we have a very special ending. Ryan O'Neill's going to come up, a young Cullyhanna fan here, and he has a poem prepared ahead of the Ulster final. So, Ryan, if you want to come up and give your poem, if you want to take Jared's microphone there.
Cullyhanna are the best. These other teams, they are no test. McCooey and Murray on the ball to give the pass when the forwards call. In centre field, where the battle is fierce, Duffy and Casey set the pace. To beat the defence, there's none more willing than our lightning fast Ross McQuillan. To win the game, the scores must come, and Aidan Nugent does this for fun. Left or right, he has no fear. It's over the bar and we all cheer. Up the Pats!
Good morning, Ryan. That's a great way to finish the show. That's wrapped up.
Just one thing, Jared said something there twice tonight about the wealthy farmers, and I don't think I've ever seen a wealthy farmer in my life.
You were called into Newtown there when you were home. So thanks everybody for coming. It was a great night, great hours track there talking about football. Thanks very much to our 4 guests, Martin, Frank, Paulie and Jared. And can we get a big round of applause for these 4? Thanks very much to the club itself for helping me out with this podcast. Thanks to Connor, Jim, Colin and Carrie for helping out with everything this evening and over the last couple of days trying to get this all put together. And a big thank you to our sponsors as well that helped make this night happen. So everybody, thanks very much for coming out and we look forward to a really good game on Sunday.